Good afternoon, and thank you all for joining us today. Before I begin, I'd like to just take a moment to recognize the passing of Don Clay this weekend, a former assistant administrator here at the agency in 2 different stints. He passed away this weekend, and our thoughts and prayers from the whole EPA family go out to Don's family. I'd also like to recognize the folks who are standing up here with me. Bill Sullivan, the Executive Vice President of Advocacy for the American Trucking Association. Lewie, Pugh, the Executive Vice President of the Owner-Operator Independent Drivers Association. Our own Bill Wehrum, the Assistant Administrator of EPA's Office of Air and Radiation. Becky Keel, the President of the Environmental Council of States. Wayne Nastry, the Executive Officer of the South Coast Air Quality Management District. Miles Keel, the Executive Director of the National Association of Clean Air Agencies. And Ben Grumbles, the Secretary of Maryland's Department of Environment. This diverse group of leaders represents the wide array of support we have for today's announcement. We're here today to announce the launch of the Cleaner Trucks Initiative, or CTI. This initiative will help modernize heavy-duty truck engines, improving their efficiency and providing cleaner air for all Americans. We are under no regulatory or court-ordered requirement to launch this initiative. We are doing it because it's good for the environment. This rulemaking will establish updated standards to address nitrogen oxide emissions from heavy-duty trucks. We will do this in a manner that improves air quality and protects public health without jeopardizing the historic economic growth we've achieved under President Trump. Thanks largely to innovation and technology, the U.S. has made big reductions in NOx emissions over the past several decades. Since 2000, NOx emissions in the U.S. have been reduced by 52%. However, it is estimated that heavy-duty trucks will be responsible for 1/3 of NOx emissions from transportation in 2025. And it's been nearly 20 years since EPA last set NOx emission standards for heavy-duty trucks. Part of this initiative will also be to cut unnecessary red tape while simplifying certification and compliance requirements for heavy-duty vehicles. For the past 2 decades, additional regulatory requirements have been added to on-highway heavy-duty vehicles in a piecemeal fashion. This has resulted in some overly complex and costly requirements that do little to actually improve the environment. EPA will undertake a comprehensive review of existing requirements to root out inefficiencies and ensure our heavy-duty trucks are clean and able to remain a competitive method of transporting goods. Areas of deregulatory focus will include: 1, onboard diagnostic requirements to ensure they focus on the functionality of key emission control system components. 2, cost-effective means of assuring real-world compliance by using modern advanced technologies. 3, the deterioration factor testing process. And 4, concerns regarding annual recertification of engine families where the underlying technologies have not changed from one model year to the next. California has already begun work on a low NOx standard, and EPA's effort will help provide a common-sense 50-state approach. This update to the standards will result in significant mobile source NOx reductions, which help areas come into attainment with ozone and particulate matter standards. This is especially true for cities and areas with heavy stop-and-go traffic, where small improvements can make a big difference. Private sector research and development efforts have already spurred new technologies. Our goal is to update our standards so that we can help get these new technologies in use across the country. Through the Cleaner Trucks Initiative, we want to provide the trucking industry the regulatory certainty they need to do what they do best, which is innovate, create, and deliver. This has been our approach across the board, and it's working. Under President Trump, we have finalized 28 major deregulatory actions, saving the American public over $1.6 billion. Overall, we are currently developing an additional 49 deregulatory actions that are estimated to provide up to $100 billion in savings. Thanks to the President's regulatory reform agenda, the economy is booming, and we're the #1 energy producer in the world. At the same time, we are a global leader in clean air progress and CO2 reductions. From 1970 to 2017, U.S. criteria air pollution fell by 73%, while the economy grew over 260%. And from 2005 to 2017, total U.S. energy-related CO2 emissions fell by 14%, In contrast, global energy-related CO2 emissions increased over 20%. And we just recently released a new report which found that greenhouse gas emissions from major industrial sources decreased by 2.7% from 2016 to 2017 during President Trump's first year in office. The Trump administration has proven that burdensome federal regulations are not necessary to drive environmental progress. By respecting the rule of law and working closely with states and the regulated community, we are improving both the environment and the economy. Thank you all for joining us today, and I hope you'll share today's announcement and progress we're making with the American public. It's now my pleasure to introduce Bill Sullivan, the Executive Vice President of Advocacy for the American Trucking Association. Following Bill, Lewie Pugh, the Executive Vice President of the Owner-Operator Independent Drivers Association, will share some remarks. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you. I'm cold and starting to shiver, so I'm going to keep it short. But we appreciate what EPA and the administrator are doing, and very much that they're focusing on working with business. It is good business to produce and to own and to drive cleaner, more fuel-efficient trucks. Today, a new truck purchased today emits 1/60th, so 60 trucks today emit the same as one truck bought in the 80s. So through the partnership that we've had with EPA, through investment by private companies in making better decisions, making better equipment, we've made a lot of progress already. Our members invest a lot of private dollars to do this, as do so many of the manufacturers of engines and new trucks. We operate in interstate commerce across all 50 states, and so we need to have a harmonized federal standard, and so we appreciate what the administrator is doing in bringing all the people together. This partnership has been a long one, and it is wonderful to be able to work with the administration. Also coupled with the recent tax reform that's bringing a lot of new equipment into the industry, we can make progress. So thank you all very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Lewie Pugh. I am the Executive Vice President of the Owner-Operator Independent Drivers Association. I have over 26 years experience in the trucking industry, 22 of those years as an owner-operator. OOIDA represents over 160,000 small business truckers and professional drivers across the United States of America. As the largest national association devoted exclusively to promoting the interest of owner-operators and professional drivers, OOIDA advocates for policies to protect the viability of the small business motor carriers, which comprise roughly of 96% of the trucking industry. We appreciate the EPA inviting OOIDA to participate in the roundtable to discuss the changes of the NOx standards for heavy-duty trucks. We are hopeful the agency will understand the unique perspective that we bring to the table in the discussion, that the policymakers will embrace our concerns for the owner-operator as they explore the updated NOx standards. Clean air is a priority for everyone, but with technology used in heavy-duty trucks, we need to accomplish this to make sure that this is both affordable and reliable for the small business trucker. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Administrator Wheeler and Assistant Administrator Wehrum. The heavy-duty truck industry greatly appreciates being with you today as EPA announces the agency's Cleaner Trucks Initiative. I'm Jed Mandel. I'm President of the Truck and Engine Manufacturers Association. For 50 years, the manufacturers of EMA have been bringing cleaner power to the world through heavy-duty trucks and buses and the engines that power them. And I'm pleased to be here today with representatives of our customers, where together we truly are the backbone of this nation's economy. Today, we're both celebrating the past and looking forward to the future. We have accomplished incredible feats. Just over the last 20 years, we've reduced NOx emissions by over 90%, particulate emissions by 98%. We've achieved greater fuel efficiency and lower greenhouse gases in line with standards that continue to challenge us as they come into effect over the next decade. Reflecting on the progress we've made to date is instructive as we think about the keys to this success, keys which need to be carried forward. The point is that we, EPA and the manufacturers and other stakeholders represented here today, have done this before, working together, and we're ready to step forward to do it again. We ask the agency to follow the same roadmap that has led to the past successes, leading a cooperative, open regulatory process that would involve all stakeholders, committing to a data-driven analysis to determine the feasibility and cost-effectiveness of standards, and adopting a national program with sufficient regulatory lead time, stability, and certainty. Following this path, we are convinced that the Cleaner Trucks Initiative is a tremendous opportunity. It's been 20 years since EPA's last look at NOx emissions. It's been almost 40 years since EPA last looked at the overall architecture of the compliance program. We've learned a great deal over those past decades, and we know that we can do more going forward in the future. We believe we can make important changes that will preserve the necessary diversity of the commercial vehicle marketplace and protect the needs of our customers for durable, reliable products. We're committed to working collaboratively with EPA and other stakeholders to take this step going forward. We want to build on our past successes and do more in the future. Thank you very much.
Okay, sure.
We're going to take a quick photograph and we'll take questions from